Okay, so I have done it again. I have bought yet another 4 reproduction games. What I have here in front of me is 4 more reproduction games. Last month I picked up Turtles in Time and Super Castlevania 4 from one of the sellers on AliExpress. I was actually blown away with the quality of not only the carts, it looks so real like the originals, but also the quality of the cardboard boxes, and also it came in a plastic cover as well. The cardboard boxes are really good. I have seen probably better ones on Etsy, to be honest, but you're paying pretty much $20 just for a cardboard box, whereas I'm paying about $20 not only for the cardboard box but also the game. So for me, I'm not really going to be like, oh, I don't like that because it's the print quality maybe just a fraction under what something on AliExpress is. But I was really happy with what I picked up last month, and here before me is 4 more games I have. Let's start off with Mega Man X. Now, I think I had one of my subscribers tell me about this game, how great it was on the Super Nintendo. So I downloaded the ROM, played it on emulation. I got halfway through the first level, and that was enough for me to get Mega Man. I gotta be honest, I was never into Mega Man back in the day. So for me to actually rediscover this game, and I think I might have been going through a phase with the Super Nintendo where I had, I think it was like the disk drive that sat on top, piggybacked the Super Nintendo, where you could rip games onto the, was it a 3.5-inch floppy disk? So I did a lot of that. I probably had this one there, but probably just briefly looked at it, and it was a really bad time to be gaming if you're pirating all of that stuff, because I would just pirate everything over and over, and I'd never get around to playing stuff. But man, I absolutely had a ball playing this one. Such a great game. It's probably, I played a few Mega Man games, and this is really good. So happy to get that. And I'm probably looking at building the collection to about 20 or 24 games, just for the fact that I know what I like, I know what I want to get back in the collection, and it's just having a whole row of Super Nintendo games that has some meaning to me. And this next one I totally forgot about until I was going through AliExpress and I saw it. I'm thinking, Soul Blazer, I know this game. Played the ROM immediately. Oh, all those memories of this game came flooding back. It was such an amazing game. Towns are destroyed. You're going into dungeons, defeating enemies, doing things, and slowly you're rebuilding these towns. And I thought that was such a unique experience in games back then to do that sort of stuff. And I can think to ActRaiser as well. I had that similar experience, but this was a game that I had forgotten about for such a long time, and just seeing this sort of stuff on these websites and jogging your memory and going way back, playing those ROMs is so cool. So this was a great game back then, and I'm going to leave a link to the seller on AliExpress. Check them out because they're so good. Now I've got 2 heavy hitters here. Let's start off with the game that got me hooked on the Super Nintendo, and it is Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. I've been really wanting to get this one, the original. This is obviously a repro, but I really wanted to get the original, and I come to realize that it's too far out of my price range. So honestly, I am more than happy with what I have here. It looks really good. It was such an incredible game because it did introduce me to Nintendo, along with Super Mario World. But for me, I was so into RPGs back then, and this was so far removed from being a traditional RPG like Fantasy Star games, stuff like I played on the Master System, Gavilius. Well, Gavilius wasn't, like Miracle Warrior, Ultimate games. Just was such far removed from those traditional RPGs because you didn't have those random battles. But replaying this just the small nuances of this game, walking through puddles of water, walking up and down stairs and dungeons, just using your sword to clank it against the wall. All those little sound effects, it just meant so much to me, and this was such a brilliant game, and I was so glad that, you know, I gave Nintendo a chance, because I was so into Sega. I was such a Sega head back then. But yeah, this was one of the games that really got me into Nintendo. And another heavy hitter is Super Metroid. I've heard about the series back in the day on the NES. I think it was my mate that bought this first, and he said I had to get it. You know, you got to get it. It's a must play game. And you're not wrong. This was such an incredible game. Just backtracking, like, you know, you talk about a Metroidvania. This is where it all started, from this sort of stuff like this, and just going backtracking and getting the different items and upgrades, and you can progress in the game, which I really thought was so cool. It was an incredible time. Not only with the Super Nintendo, but also the Mega Drive, just the stuff that was coming out, and here's a good representation of that. And I still want to rebuild this collection. Like I said, I'll get to 2024 games that represent things that really meant a lot to me from the Super Nintendo. I may not get the Final Fantasy games back. They're just too long to play. I'm not really into the RPGs like I was back in the day. I don't have the time to do that. But here are 4 great games that I picked up off AliExpress. They were on sale. I think they're going for about $18 each, postage, and I had to pay GST as well for the Australian government, which is always a nice thing to do for the government. Not really, but yeah, I had to pay the GST as well. But great games, especially these two. These two meant so much to me back in the day on the Super Nintendo. Try and pick these things up cheap now is impossible, unless you go to a private sale where people don't know what they're selling and at what price. But man, I am looking forward to picking up more games over the next 12 months. I don't want to rush into it. I've got other things I need to do. The ActRaiser is in there. Definitely want to get the ActRaiser games back. Of course, Mario. Yoshi. I've got to see if Yoshi's on there. But that's it. I'm going to leave a link down below to AliExpress. It's so worth getting, I feel, because I don't want to pay $200, $500 for a single game when I can pay $20, under $20 sometimes when they're on sale, for something that looks and plays identical to those games back in the day. So until next time, guys, bye.